I am so happy that you're able to join us for this extended interview. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get more killer resources. All right, so we've been talking about landing a remote job for a while now, but the one thing you're probably most curious about is how to learn the online skills you need to land these jobs. I'm not just talking about getting a brief introduction, but learning from actual accredited schools so you can be taken seriously when you apply for these jobs. You've been waiting for a while, and I'm really sorry about that, but I have finally created a whole page listing the best courses to take, from teaching English online to becoming a freelance writer and so much more, all from trusted sources that will get you that remote job. So if you're ready and serious to take the next step, then visit theoffbeatlife.com/learn online skills to get started. Again, you can visit theoffbeatlife.com/learn online skills to get started. Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here for this extended interview with Amanda, where she's going to be sharing with us how to navigate family traveling during this crazy pandemic world. Hey Amanda, how are you?
I am doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Before we get to all of your awesome tips, can you tell us a little bit about you and why you live an offbeat life?
Yeah, so I started my blog in 2014. I was a mother of two toddlers, a bartender, and I wanted to be a writer, a world traveler, and a mom, and I wanted freedom to do it all. So I thought, I'm going to do a blog. And I'm going to write about my travels with my babies and hopefully share some insight for others to also take that leap and travel with their family. I was graduated at a time that what I thought was going to be my career path wasn't going to happen. It was a recession and magazines and newspapers weren't hiring. So I was kind of left to my own devices. And that's when I discovered the magical world of blogging. And after my two blogs that didn't go anywhere and two babies later, I was like, I got to get this right. And I started to dive into the blogging business to make Hot Mama Travel a success. And since then, I've had two more children. So I'm a mother of four. I've expanded my blog into a YouTube channel as well as travel agent services.
Love that. And also, I love that you started two blogs. They didn't work out and you just kept going. So that just shows how resilient you are, Amanda, because a lot of people will just have given up after that first one, thinking if this didn't work now, it's not going to work. So that's truly commendable.
Thanks. I don't know if I'm just stubborn or I don't know what it is, but it worked out.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, I'm making this work.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really the difference between people who make it and the people who don't. You're just crazy and you're persistent.
Exactly.
Or
crazy mama travel. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. Or like just a masochist. You're just like, I'm gonna keep failing, but you just keep going. That's
Sometimes
all
I feel
I'm gonna
that
do.
way. I'm like, do I like to make life hard on myself? I think I do.
But you know what? You wouldn't be where you are if you made things easy for yourself. I think that's where it all comes down to. Obviously, you don't want to make it hard all the time, but
right.
You got to take risks.
I think the challenges make it exciting. That's a way to look at it. That's how I tell myself. This isn't stressful. It's exciting.
Exactly. That's why you do this. Love it. So let's talk about family travel, and not just any family traveling. It's about traveling during the pandemic, because obviously it has become a lot more difficult to take your kids anywhere right now because of what's happening in the world. So how are you able to take your four kids to different places, different locations, make sure that you're doing this safely for everyone in your family?
Right. So this was a tricky time, because not only, as if it wasn't hard enough for people to want to take the leap and just family travel, because logistically and financially, that's already hard enough to come up with sometimes for people. And you add on a pandemic and the fear of your family's safety, and now you've got a whole set of challenges. And how do you promote travel responsibly, right? That's the other thing, because you don't want to promote something that's going to put people in danger. or your family. So that was a hard thing to navigate. So I would say that's why I decided to extend my services to being a travel agent as well, because a lot of families, it was just overwhelming for them. They don't know. It was constantly changing the restrictions. Is it safe? Where should I go? Can I go? Can I come back? And I just wanted to handle that for them. As someone who's traveled a lot, I'm comfortable with understanding the documents and what you need, and I can just do it for you.
Yeah.
Just let me do it for you.
Make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, just make it easy for yourself. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just me doing my thing for you, and you get to have this. I would say I was promoting a lot of local travel during that time because, especially with the children, they couldn't be vaccinated for a while, and still 5 and under can't. So you have to think about what that is going to allow you to do. Like cruises right now, most cruises are not allowing anyone unvaccinated on the ship, which is great because now you can feel safe when you're on there that everyone around you is also vaccinated. But kids 5 and under are restricted from cruising right now. So for me, I have a 3-year-old and a baby. That's out. We can't cruise right now. But it's important to look at all the different options and just stick with like and see what the safety measures and protocols are of hotels. We got so much use out of our local hotels. We had so much fun because things were pretty empty during 2020. People weren't doing stuff. And then when they started to open up slowly, I wanted to help, support places I loved and keep them kind of going and showing people that you can still do a little staycation. The local hotels were really being good about, sanitizing and cleaning the rooms. They weren't having, housekeeping services. But if you're just doing a couple nights, you're not doing a whole huge trip anymore. It was okay. You could get through that just to give the kids, some outdoor time and a change of scenery because we were all, locked down for months, in our homes. So that's really what I would say is even now, local travel is the easiest. You can still do international travel. But you just have to be prepared. There's long wait lines right now, checking people's health status. So you just have to prepare yourself. If you thought it was hard to get through airports before, after 9/11, it's even crazier now. So you have to, if you're with kids too, you got to be prepared for that. Bring snacks, sanitizer, make the masks fun, get cute masks. I don't know. We got bedazzled ones. I got them holiday ones. During Halloween, they had Halloween ones,
It's the new thing for us. It's how we're going to be living life, Hopefully it's not going to be like this all the time. And I do feel bad for like very small kids or kids who were born around this time, or they're just starting to understand more things because this is not how life should be and how not they just don't know anything different. And I'm like, I feel so bad. Like you can't go to certain places because it's so much harder, or you can't go to see family, like certain families, or it's harder to see them. And it's just it's so heartbreaking because at least with us, we're older and we know what it was like. But with small kids, it's like they don't know any different. And I feel so bad. I'm like,
yeah, no, my 3-year-old is like mask life, that's what he knows. You go outside, you put your mask on. He freaks out too if his mask falls off. He's like, my mask. I'm like, it's okay.
Aww,
so I don't even know what that's going to be like when he's older. Like my son too, he's like really good about the masks, but that's what they're, and you have to be careful too. Like I'm like with friends are coming over. I'm like, are they vaccinated? Are you going to be outside? All these questions you have to ask now. And that's just for everyday life. And it's the same thing with travel. You can travel. You just have to keep that same mindset and do what is comfortable for you.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? It's what everyone is feeling. Like you have to do what makes you comfortable as a person,
Right.
which is really, it's what's most important, because otherwise you're just going to have panic attacks all the time. But
exactly.
And you talked about local traveling, and that's really great because a lot of times, like for people like us who love to travel, most of the time we overlook things that's just literally in our, in our backyards, like close to us, only a few hours. And I know in California, there's a ton of places there. Like you could go north and south and it's like completely different place. Like sometimes California doesn't even feel like it's the same state, it's just so vast. So it's good to be able to do that and kind of appreciate what you already have before you go off somewhere a lot further too.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I started out, it was about budget, traveling. Because when I started out as a family traveler as well, I was on a very small budget as a bartender, and my husband was a graduate student, and so we had to travel with little means. So I focused a lot on local travel then, and giving your kids cultural experiences and doing things locally then. And it's weird how it's totally come full circle again, where that's what we're focusing on. That's what we're doing again. And there is something to be said about enjoying your local areas, because we do. I realized after traveling a lot that, man, there was so much like in my own backyard that I had not seen. Because you think that you're going to get to it. You're like, oh, that's just an hour away. We'll see it we'll see it some other time. And you don't. You don't. You keep planning other things. But this was like forcing us to really appreciate like where we lived, and all of our little spots, and supporting our local businesses and family owned restaurants and things like that we could do and promote and enjoy while still feeling like we're doing something.
Absolutely, because there's just a lot. There's a lot of businesses. There's a lot of scenery that you can definitely do. I mean, I live in New York City, and we go upstate all the time. We try to go there like every other weekend to hike and to see things. And there's just so much to do. And I mean, we've done that even before the pandemic, but it's just nice to see new places and stuff, because there's always something new for you, always, all the time, which I love. But yeah, thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing all of these tips with us. If our listeners want to learn more about you, where can they find you?
They can find me at hotmamatravel.com, and I'll be there with all of my tips and tricks to get you and your family on the road.
Love it. Thanks again, Amanda. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this extended interview with Amanda. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get the full interview, where she shares how she was able to gain freedom as an online travel expert. Hey friend, have you been wanting to start a podcast? I know it can be overwhelming in the beginning. Believe me, I have been there. Lucky for you, we have created a new site called howtocreateapodcast.com that shares a ton of freebies that can help you get started. From launching, growing to monetizing, we share it all in one place. Visit howtocreateapodcast.com for more information. Thanks for joining me on this extended interview. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. We can also chat some more on Facebook at The OB Life. I'll talk to you soon.